Hey there, Virgo. Welcome to your reading for the week of September. This is for the September 17th eclipse that is happening in the sign of Pisces, not the week of the 17th. And we are just doing an eclipse reading. You start with this resentment card and this exploration card. So eclipses can sometimes remind us of things from the past. It's not really like a retrograde or anything, but I do think eclipses are like fated. They represent fate and karma and things like that. So sometimes I think we can kind of look, be looking back at some of the things that have happened to us. And this is happening in your opposite sign of Pisces. So, again, I think that some of you could be looking at past connections, past relationships, or past things that you have been through. And you could be kind of like clearing up the resentment, or you could be healing from the resentment of something that happened to you. And I think that healing resentment is probably one of the best things that we can do in life. I always say, I personally think that guilt is probably the most destructive energy, but like second to that, I would say is resentment, or, something along those lines. So I feel for a lot of you that, again, if there's something that you resent that has happened to you in your life, then, it might be a good time to, look at why you resent something or why you feel resentful over a past connection. Again, this isn't a criticism. It's definitely not a bad thing either. Again, when you heal these things, then you heal. And you go down from the Seven of Cups here to the King of Pentacles and the Star definitely represents a healing. So obviously going through this healing is going to be a good thing. The Seven of Cups could be like why. You could be exploring, that first card you have says exploration on it. And so you could be exploring why something happened to you. And the funny thing is that the Seven of Cups says you don't know. The Seven of Cups sometimes I feel can say that you might be looking at like, why did a breakup happen? Or, why did I get fired from that job? And the Seven of Cups is your brain just going all over the place. And especially if you have had one of those breakups where you really get blindsided, where you really didn't know or don't know what happened in the connection, then it can definitely cause this type of energy right here. And the good news is that I think at the time of this eclipse, you could be getting to the place here, or you could be healing to the point where you don't care, where you're just like, you know what, whatever, I don't need to know the answer. I don't need closure. I'm just going to move forward and, take control of my own life and live my best life. And that's exactly what you should be doing here, Virgo. You have the Nine of Cups. Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment. Again, it seems to be a rather positive eclipse. Now, I really want to stress to people, globally in the world, things are probably not going to look so great, weird energy, weird global energy. I think that it is our job as spiritual teachers and people to, bring light to the world at this time. It's like, just because things are going bad in the world, or, there's challenges or things popping off, that doesn't mean that we have to feed into that energy. It's actually quite the opposite. We should be feeding into the light. And so I think we need to kind of bring more light to the world. And I feel like the Nine of Cups is saying, make sure that you are staying in alignment at this time. And that's exactly what I would do with the Nine of Cups. He is getting what he wished for because he is in alignment, right? And so make sure, I think the easiest way to stay in alignment is to adopt the habits of success. If you want success in love, adopt the habits. Like, what do successful people who have successful relationships, what do they do? Same thing in wealth and happiness and business and everything. It's like, what are the habits? Learn them, adopt them, see what works for you, and then keep doing them, and you will get what you wish for. And you have the Nine of Cups. The Star as well. So there definitely could be a wish. You have the Four of Cups. Every single person has had the Four of Cups. I kind of feel this could be one of those cards that ends up being a collective energy for the eclipse. And I do feel that a lot of people could be looking at past disappointments or things that didn't work out in their lives. And I just feel, I don't really feel much other than I feel people could be kind of clearing up the karma around those issues. And what I mean by that is if like something didn't work out for you, like a business idea, a relationship, a career idea, I think people are just looking at the lessons and looking at how they can apply those lessons they learned to their life and then moving on, right? And that's what I would do. Don't live in the Seven of Cups. Don't live in the Four of Cups. Learn and move on. And if you do that, you'll be great. If you don't, then you'll be stuck. So don't be stuck, right? Let's see what is going on for you here. And with the Seven of Cups, you have the Ten of Cups, happiness. Ten of Cups is really about choosing your own happiness. these people are standing in the real world. So like I just said, they are dealing with the real world issues and challenges and problems, but they are choosing to be happy. So I think that doing more things that make you happy and bringing more light to the world is the secret. So that's what I would do there. With the Nine of Cups, you have the Empress. Boom, love it. Definitely a lot of prosperity. Again, this eclipse has already. I've only done 4 readings for the set so far for the eclipses, but they've all been very, very prosperous, and they've all been, kind of really good for creating prosperity. So I think that for a lot of you, you could be creating a lot of prosperity, or you could be working on creating more prosperity in your life, just abundance in general. Both cards are kind of lazy in a good way. Nine of Cups and the Empress. Nine of Cups, he's just sitting there and he is waiting for a feast. That's the story of the Nine of Cups. But he's meant to look a little bit chubby because it says he has had a feast before. And so he is able to attract things because he is in alignment. He has already experienced something, so he already knows what the energy feels like, so he can have it again. It's like there are many stories, for example, of millionaires who lose everything, and then like 2 months later, they're back to making millions of dollars. Why do you think that is? It's because they've been in the energy before. So again, the Nine of Cups says we have to be in an energy of what we want before we can have it. And people always say, I've never had $1 million. How is that possible? I always tell those people, go drive a Ferrari. There's plenty of Ferrari experiences where you can pay like $200 and drive a Ferrari. Go be around abundance. Go think about abundance. Adopt the habits. Same thing with love. Go be in love with like your dog, nature, whatever. And same thing with the Empress. All she has to do is wave that scepter in front of her, and that wheat grows. So she is not working hard to attract that wheat. And there's definitely something popping into my head for you about the fact that you shouldn't necessarily have to be working hard at this time to create abundance. So if you're thinking, I think we have complexity bias as humans, right? We think the most complex answer is the right answer because of complexity bias. I think these 2 cards are saying, if you're coming up with like crazy complex ideas on how to make money, no. Keep it simple. Keep it, simple, easy is the way to go. With the 4 of Cups, you have the High Priestess. Very intuitive time, so I would be trusting your intuition. If you're having intuitive hits or if you're getting intuitive messages, I would definitely listen to those messages. Next, in the area of what's coming in for you, you have this Surrender card and this Remember card. So I feel like you need to surrender to the facts. That's it. That's really all I feel here for you, Virgo. It's like I feel like there are certain facts in your life, and it's like you are surrendering to the fact that those facts are facts, and you're just moving forward, whether you like it or not, right? You have the Ace of Wands, the King of Pentacles, and the World. The Ace of Wands is out with the old, in with the new. It's being inspired, and we see a lot of inspiration here. We have this and the Star, 2 very powerful cards of inspiration. So if you're feeling inspired to work on something right here, 9 of Pentacles to the 8 of Pentacles, like literally kind of building whatever this is in the world, then I feel there will be a lot of success here. The 9 of Pentacles is about creating heaven on earth, and it doesn't say that you're going to do this overnight, right? We have this eclipse on September 17th. We have the next Pisces eclipse on September 7th of next year, and then we have the last Pisces eclipse on August 28th of 2026. So you could be working on something over the next 3 years that will create heaven on earth. The other interesting thing about this is we have Neptune and Pisces until the end of 2026, or until the end of 2025, beginning of 2026. So it's kind of like Neptune and Pisces is that big impossible dream, heaven on earth. I think it would be a great time with this right here for you to kind of look at what heaven on earth for you would look like. Like what is that? What would you need to be doing to say, you know what, I've created my own little slice of heaven here on earth, and like start working towards manifesting or building those things. You have the King of Pentacles. King of Pentacles is about wealth and building wealth, and definitely seems to me like you are probably focused on building wealth in your life or building more success and abundance. The King of Pentacles has grapes on his cloak. The 9 of Pentacles has grapes behind her. The grapes in the tarot represent the fact that you have some sort of skill that could make you very successful. So I think that your skills could be the thing that are attracting more wealth and abundance into your life. And that's what I would focus on with the King of Pentacles is wealth and abundance. You have the World card here. The World is an accomplishment or an achievement. So I feel for a lot of you, you could be accomplishing something great in your life at this time and achieving something great. Also, like I said, I think this is about bringing heaven down to earth. The other thing I would say is that the World is the last card in the major arcana, and so you could be very focused on, kind of building a new world. It's kind of like, I get this feeling that you're really going for it. It's like maybe you're saying to yourself, I've never had the things that I truly want in my life, and I'm going to give it one last shot. And, if you're giving something one last shot, I think that would be a really good idea. With the Ace of Wands, you have the Star. There you go. Like I said, inspiration. I knew that those two cards were connected. I feel like they're both talking about inspirations and you kind of, creating inspirations here on Earth. And that's what I would definitely focus on. With the King of Pentacles, you right here, the Hermit. So the Hermit is your card. Whenever you show up as yourself, this puts you in a position of power and strength in the reading. He also has the Star in his lantern right here, and I always say that the Hermit needs to shine his light all over the place. And you have the Star here and also here going this way. So, one of the ways that you could become happy with the Ten of Cups, or something that could bring you fulfillment in life, could be you sharing the things that you've been through, the things that you've learned, and the lessons that you've learned. So that might be that might be something you're into. With the World, you have the Lovers. It is a good time for love, by the way, and you go up to the Page of Cups. So if you're hoping to find a connection, or if you're hoping to meet a new person, I do feel that this could be a new person for you here that comes in, Virgo. One thing that I will say to Virgos is I think that Virgo needs to be very careful of the type of person you're dating. So if you are meeting people, like I think you have learned over the years that you have a certain type, and I think it would be a good time for you to date the type of person that you're almost a little bit scared to date. And I don't mean that in a bad way. But, just dating a person where they maybe are a little bit out of your league, or maybe they, it's like maybe you feel that you would have to improve yourself in some way, or maybe you feel a little bit inadequate. And again, I want to stress, this is not a negative thing, right? This is just like sometimes we meet a person, we feel like we have to level up to be with that person, or we feel, they kind of point out some of the areas where we are weak, right? And again, this isn't a bad thing. This is for growth. So again, I would pick the type of person that maybe you would be a little bit afraid of losing, right? Or something along those lines. But, I think it's also important to look at where this is coming from. And I think it's important to say, like, this person isn't making you feel inadequate to put you down. This person would be helping build you up. So I think looking at where the energy is coming from, is it up or is it down? And that's what she said right there. You have in the next row for the messages from your future self, this Fire Spirit card. You also have this Star Blessings card, and you have the Star in this row. So the Star is clearly blessing you at this time. The fire energy, I think it's saying, it's definitely time to go for it. And what are you going for is this right here. You have the Temperance card. The Temperance card, he has this path right here to this crown, and this path is called the path to glory. And sometimes I feel with the Temperance card that he should just put those two cups down and get off on that path. He's trying to make a situation perfect before he starts working towards that glowing crown. But sometimes, not always, but sometimes I feel that the person I'm reading for, you, just needs to go for that crown and not worry about like things being perfect, right? So I think it's time to really go for the Star. You have the Nine of Pentacles, again, heaven on earth, creating your own little slice of heaven on earth. Of course, this isn't going to happen overnight. This is going to take skill. It's going to take time. The Nine of Pentacles is all about your environment. And it's all about cleaning up your environment and creating an environment of success. It's like, obviously, if there are things, you're a Virgo. I live with a Virgo rising, my brother. And, it's like one thing that drives him crazy is dishes. I'm sure that dishes drive you crazy as well. So, I'm a Pisces. I'm a little bit manipulative. I've kind of like gotten him to a place where he just does the dishes because he doesn't like the way that I load the dishwasher. Whatever. I just throw it in there. It all gets washed. And I don't really see the big deal about it, but whatever. And so what I would say here is, again, if you have things that are driving you crazy like dishes, it's probably affecting your productivity. Nine of Pentacles is about setting yourself up for success. So it says, can you put things into alignment in your life? Or can you set up habits that create success? There's that book about habits that I never remember the name of by James Clear. And in that book about habits, he talks about like, if you don't floss, if you put your floss next to your toothbrush, you're more likely to floss your teeth because it's right next to your toothbrush. And so ever since I read that book, Atomic Habits is what it's called. Ever since I read that book, it really changed my life, right? Even after I read that book, I changed my setup in here, in my old setup where I used to live. But even now I've changed it. So I have all I have to do is plug my computer in, everything turns on, and it just removes a ton of friction. I have 19 things that I have to turn on to get everything to work. But because I've set it up so I only have to plug it in once, I'm more likely to sit down and do my readings, right? And that's just one example. There's a million other things that you can do in your life to create an environment of success, and the Nine of Pentacles says do it. You have the Star card. We've talked about this a lot, and so I think that you having a North Star, having that one guiding light is going to be very important for you. I also feel this card says star blessings on it, so there could be blessings coming in from your wishes, and that would be a good thing. With the Temperance card, yes, are you kidding? You have the Fool. The Fool just says, go for it. Take the leap of faith. We have the World to the Fool. In the Major Arcana, we go from the Fool to the World. That is the Fool's journey. And then when he gets to the World, he just starts all over again. And he starts his journey again at the Fool. So you go from the World to the Fool. It's like you're starting a new journey in your life. And I feel like you're as ready as you're going to be, is what the Temperance card is saying. Just take the leap of faith. With the Nine of Pentacles, you have the Two of Pentacles. Two of Pentacles is work hard, play hard, and I would make sure that you are focusing on doing what's important. Nine of Pentacles is also about your focus. It says if you're doing things that are stealing your focus or that aren't worth it, then you're going to struggle. If you're doing things that are worth it, that fill you with energy, Nine of Cups as well in this row right here, then you will feel more fulfilled. So I would make sure you're doing the things that fulfill you. With the Star, you have the Six of Cups. It's like childlike energy. I've seen a lot of childlike energy over the past couple months. I think the universe is trying to get people to tap into their inner child and remember what brings you joy, Ten of Cups, happiness, all those things. And I think we need to bring more of those things to the world, right? Because that's what's going to change the world, plain and simple. Next, in the area of the good stuff, you have this Vulture spirit says nothing is wasted. You have this Lion spirit says be generous of spirit. So I think for a lot of you, the Vulture is about conservation of energy. If you see vultures, they kind of soar around. They're not really flapping their wings. So they are saving their energy until they see an opportunity for food, right? And so they don't waste any energy on things that aren't worth it. They wait for an opportunity and then they take advantage of it. And I feel that would be a good activity for you with this energy here. You have the Page of Cups, the Eight of Swords, and the Eight of Pentacles. I do feel you're attracting new love into your life. The funny thing that I feel is I do feel like this person is going to be work for some reason. I don't really know why here, Virgo. Part of me feels that, again, I would be careful of putting yourself down and saying you're not good enough or, feeling inadequate, like I was saying earlier. It's but, I can't help but feel that there's something about this person that makes you feel like you have to level up in some way. Is this a bad thing? I think it depends on how you see it. I think if you're looking at it oh, I'm so bad and terrible and I'll never be good enough, bad, right? But if you look at this as a growth opportunity, then I feel this will be a good thing. So I really feel it's kind of dependent on your mindset. And I would also say from their perspective, from this person, it's I think they don't care, number one. But number two, I think as long as they're not saying things to you that's making you feel inadequate, that's also going to be important, right? It's I think if people are putting us down or making us feel bad about ourselves, we should avoid those people. So I think it also depends on where they're coming from, but they're coming up in the good stuff. So I feel that this is going to mostly be good. You have the Eight of Swords. Eight of Swords and the good stuff would say you're setting yourself free. You're being open to new opportunities and potentials. So I think this is good. And you also have the Eight of Pentacles. Eight of Pentacles is about looking at all the work that you have done on yourself. Sometimes I feel the Eight of Pentacles, he's just looking down. He's not looking up at all the work that he has accomplished in front of him. And when we put the work that we've done in front of us into perspective, it makes new things that we're about to do immediately more possible. It's maybe you've already done a lot of work and on yourself, and you would be very valuable to a person. It's maybe that's what you need to realize if you are attracting a new person into your life. It's you already are more than worth it, And so I kind of feel like you need to say that to yourself. With the Page of Cups, here's the problem. You have the King of Swords, good card. Definitely could be attracting someone who's older than you or who's very mature. King of Swords is hard to read. So again, I would communicate with this person. I would talk to this, I feel like you could be, it's like you're meeting this person in the future, so maybe not right now. And some of you I do feel could already be with a new person that's hard to read. And if they're hard to read, I would just communicate. I think this person, I don't know. It's kind of striking me as a person who has a lot going on. And so they might live in their own little world, and it's hard for them to let people into their own little world. But if you talk to this person, I feel like they will let you in. So I would communicate, of course. With the Eight of Swords, you have the Ten of Wands. Yeah, removing hard work. Remember what we said about the Nine of Cups and the Empress at the beginning. These are not hard work cards. And it doesn't mean you won't be working hard. It's more about what's worth it. You can work hard, and as long as what you're doing is giving more back to you, totally different story. But this right here is doing hard work and it's like you're only getting enough. So I think what you're avoiding is doing hard work for hard work's sake and making sure that what you are working hard on is producing more of a result. With the Eight of Pentacles, you have the Magician. The Magician is about manifestation and manifesting abundance, which I think you are doing. He's also pointing at this card right here. So we're going to take it, and it says create. The Magician is very creative. You have the Empress as well. So tapping into that, and even the Star is inspiration. When we are inspired, we are creative. So I think that for a lot of you, tapping into your inspirations and focusing on creative work would be a really good idea, especially with the Empress. Again, she is the creator. So, I think a lot of you could be getting into a very creative time, and creative energy could be very beneficial. Here you go. You have this romance card. Definitely a romantic connection coming in for you. There's really nothing to worry about here. It's like if you're worrying about what this person will think or blah, 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 I would let go of the worries. I think it's going to be perfectly fine. You have this empathy card, and I think this person will have a lot of empathy as well. I think that this should be a clue to you if you're because I feel some of you could be meeting multiple people. And it's like, I think one person clearly has empathy, and, which is a very good trait. And that's what I would focus on with this card. You have this control card. This is like the world card, this card, and it's Jupiter in Capricorn. And you have the world, which is Capricorn. And so this kind of looks like the world. I feel for a lot of you, you are taking control. It's like you are in control of creating this heaven on earth, right? And that's what I would focus on. You have this negotiation card. This card is about you I feel like you're negotiating with yourself in a lot of ways. And is this a bad thing? No, I feel like you're kind of being more neutral at this time, and I feel that will be a good thing for you. Instead of looking at things as good or bad or challenging or not challenging, you're kind of just more along for the ride is the energy I get off of this card, meaning that you're more willing to take chances, and I feel this is a very good. And finally, you have this detachment card. Yes, the more detached you can be from outcomes and just allowing things to happen, which is literally what I just said, the better is what this is saying here, Virgo. So pretty good reading. I like it. Thank you for being here, and definitely enjoy the eclipse.